Yo, what's up guys? In this video, we're going to not look at Bean Chungles version 2.0. We are going to answer the question or make the argument, 8 reasons why meal plans are a waste of money with this handy dandy, not infographic this time, just a list of reasons. Because I think they are a waste of money. I don't think anybody should pay for a meal plan. And when you sign up for personal training or even like remote training, there's this kind of idea that like you want to get as much as you can from the money that you pay. And trainers obviously want to provide a good service. But I think that going as far as to provide to provide a meal plan, I think is stupid, and it's a waste of time, and I guess waste of money is probably the wrong way to put it. But like, you don't need a meal plan. Most people do not need a meal plan. Most people, and we'll get into who exactly might possibly potentially need a meal plan in the future, but most people who are just trying to lose a little bit of weight, or even like I would say up to like high intermediate athletes, I think like your average, not really your average gym bro, but like your like super serious gym bro, maybe that guy would need a meal plan, maybe, but also probably not. So like, you definitely don't need one. All right. Reason number one is that the fitness industry is unnecessarily complicated because of a disproportionate focus on bodybuilding. So fitness these days, most of the time, is focused on bodybuilding, right? It's the same fucking routines everywhere you see, 3 sets of 10, or 4 sets of 10, pick 3 exercises, pick 4 exercises, do abs afterwards, do 30 minutes of cardio. Like, that's bodybuilding. All right. That is what most gyms are set up to facilitate. That is what most trainers train. And that is just most of the information that you see on the internet about, or even in the real world. That's how most people train, is through bodybuilding. And the reason why meal plans are so popular now, or why it's even like a thing, is because of the focus on bodybuilding. Because bodybuilders need meal plans. You need a meal plan if you are looking to put on freakish amounts of muscle that are not otherwise possible to put on unless you have your nutrition like super, super, super dialed in. But those guys are also taking lots of PEDs, they're taking lots of steroids. And for your average person who's just trying to lose a little weight or get in shape or even get a 6-pack, bro, you don't need a meal plan. You do not need a meal plan. You do not need to like have a list of 4 different meals or 5 different meals that you need to eat every day and go out and buy these ingredients and do meal prep, right? It's just like, it's a complete waste of time and a waste of energy and a waste of mental energy that you could spend on anything else that you want, other than like putting food into little Tupperware containers and eating it later, which by the way is disgusting. Like, ew, gross. Who wants to eat pre-made cold food that, or even food that's heated up in a microwave? It's disgusting. And like, I'm not saying it doesn't work to lose weight. It's just an extremely inefficient way of doing it when there are much simpler solutions. And I was going to say that like, people who are on a meal plan, and anybody who like signs up for a trainer or something and tells me they're on a meal plan, I already kind of think like, oh, they don't really know what they're doing. Again, like I said, not saying that it won't work to help them lose weight, not saying like it's impossible to look good if you do a meal plan. Definitely not. Those things, like, they work, I guess, but they're just unnecessary. Because of reason number 2, you should only be eating a small number of foods anyway. In other words, not saying you should eat a small amount of food per sitting, or, you should eat a small handful of food. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that out of all of the foods that exist in the world, out of all of the possible sources of nutrition in the world that one can consume for sustenance, there's only a small amount of those that anybody should actually be eating on a regular basis. The rest of them are just very bad for you, or they're not good for you, or they're not ideal, I guess is the best way to put it. I've said this so many times. 80 to 90% of the food that you eat should be meat and or eggs, should be lean protein. I'm personally not a fan of things like protein powder and protein bars and like, sugar-free pancake syrup or protein pancakes, or like all of these like, factory synthesized foods that are technically not unhealthy, but are not the worst thing in the world, right? Like, okay, you want to eat your, what is it, Kodiak cakes, protein pancakes. I've never actually tried them. I'm sure they're delicious. But, and that's not bad for you, I guess. It does have a decent amount of protein in it. I don't even really know what the ingredients are, to be honest. Let's assume they're healthy, right? Should you eat that, or should you eat some meat or some pork or some chicken? You know, and in every comparison that you're going to make like that, the answer is always going to pretty much be, should you eat this like synthesized fake food, which might be, you know, might have like better, like less calories and be more filling. But is it overall healthier for you? Is it easier for your body to digest? Is it going to taste better? Like, are you going to be a healthier person overall from eating it? And I would say pretty much every single time, the correct choice, if you're judging by those criteria, is going to be the lean protein, for example, or the eggs. Other things that you can eat, maybe I'll make a list of like foods you should eat every day. It's not a bad idea. I'm a big fan of garlic, onions, you know, olive oil, I think is very good. Any sort of like natural oil. Well, actually, that's not true. Olive oil, coconut oil, you know, vinegar, I guess. Apple cider vinegar is good. I'm a fan of salt. I like salt. Obviously, like, don't go overboard with the salt, especially if you're overweight. But I think that our bodies can kind of self-regulate how much salt we actually need. But anyway, you should only be eating a small number of foods anyway. You don't need to, you don't, like, the way that you will mess up in a diet is by having too much variety in the food that you eat. That's actually a good video idea. I'm going to have to write that down at some point. Well, anyway, I won't do that now. But the way to mess up in a diet, or really with anything, is by having too much variety. Somebody told me once, they said what was it? Novelty is the enemy of success, or something like that, right? When you're always looking for novelty, when you're always looking for a new thing or some sort of variety in your life, it's going to prevent you from really focusing on one thing and dialing that thing in. You know, maybe a bit of a stretch to compare to use that example in nutrition, but think of it like this, practical example in literal terms. If every day you have to prepare 5 different things, and let's say you only stick with those 5 things, that's much more complex than eating the same thing every night, which is the ideal thing. And if you've got a week's worth of meal plans and you've got, you know, 20 different things that are prepared, you know, at various intervals throughout that week, that's going to be even harder, you know. So why would you want to expend all of that mental energy? You're going to have decision fatigue from doing all of that when you could just eat the same 1 or 2 things, 1 or 2 dishes every single week or every day of the week, and you would be eating the ideal foods every single time. Why wouldn't you choose that simpler option and spend your time on like literally anything else? Number 3, non-bodybuilders / pro athletes / extremely active people should only be eating once a day anyway. So that's non-bodybuilders, non-pro athletes, and non-extremely active people. Like I said earlier, bodybuilders do need to eat more than once a day because they need to eat a much higher volume of food in order to put on and maintain serious amounts of muscle that your average person is not capable of putting on because of the, you know, the performance enhancing drugs they're taking. Same with pro athletes, although to a lesser degree. Let's assume that pro athletes are not on steroids. Let's just, you know, assume that that's the case. They're still genetically gifted enough that they're going to be able to train much harder and will push themselves to train harder and condition themselves to train harder than your average person, which would require more frequent eating throughout the day in order to maximize like your like training efficiency, I guess. Bottom line, like you have an Olympic swimmer, the dude's going to need to swim fucking 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day, whatever it is, broken up into 2 or 3 workouts. That's not really easy to do on 1 meal a day, if even possible. Your performance is going to suffer. I don't care how much you eat during that meal. It's not conducive to like extremely high level athletes. And also I put in there extremely active people. So non-extremely active people, you don't need to eat several times throughout the day. You just don't need to. Most people sit at a desk all day, or most people are doing very light physical activity like, I don't even know. What do people do? These like cleaning your house. No offense, housewives out there, but like, what do you really do? You vacuum a little bit, you do the dishes, maybe do some laundry, pick your kids up from school. That's what people who are not in the workforce are doing, right? You're like at home doing stuff around your house, I guess, right? I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you have those types of people, and then you have the majority of the workforce, which is in offices. If you have a physical job, if you're working in construction and you're digging holes all day, or you're on your feet all day, or you work for FedEx or UPS and you're lifting boxes and you're doing shit, yeah, you might need to eat more than once a day. Key word there is you might need to. You also might not need to. And if you're fatter than you think you should be, and you can like reach down and pinch a sizable section of your gut and it like fills up a nice, decent part of your hand, well, guess what? You probably don't need to be eating more than once a day. Just putting it out there. Number 4, measuring calories exactly is impossible. You will never know how many calories are in a meal. You will never know exactly. It is not possible to measure that, because in order to measure exactly how many calories are in that, you need to actually destroy the food. You need to burn the food, literally burn the food, set it on fire, and see how long it burns for. So that's getting like really pedantic with it. You're never going to know exactly how many calories you're going to have. Okay, you can get a good idea, I guess, but you're never going to really know exactly. How are you going to know? You're just going to trust the nutritional label. That's just wrong all the time. So why would you even focus on that? I don't like counting calories in general. I think it's a waste of time. I think instead of counting calories, I think what you should do is you should focus on the types of food that you are eating. You focus on food choice instead of calories, and focus on your activity level. If your activity level is high and the quality of the food is also high that you're eating, and you still find that you're gaining weight, which I guess it's possible, just throw in a day or two of fasting here and there, and that'll completely take care of any additional fat. Oh my God, I have corona. Any additional fat that you might like store on your body. It's inconvenient. It's hard. It's not fun. Everybody hates fasting. Let's be real. It sucks to fast, but it's the most efficient way to do it that is not going to require any sort of guesswork. You don't have to use MyFitnessPal. You don't have to look up how many calories in the food. You don't have to do any math to like determine how many calories you ate. You don't have to do any of that. Just eat fucking the same, choose from the pool of the same small amounts of food. Eat one time per day from that pool of small amounts of food. And if you notice that you're a little bit fatter than you would like to be, then just take a day and don't eat. Really, that's all you got to do. Number 5, even if measuring calories exactly was possible, it's a waste of time because it neglects the importance of food choice. So with the rising popularity of everybody's favorite talking parrot, Greg Doucette, there's kind of this like meta resurgence of, I guess it's not really resurgence, but it's this like zeitgeist of like low calorie dense foods that don't taste like shit are the way to go in terms of weight loss. And in my opinion, I love Greg Doucette. Let me just put that out there. I think he's great. He's hilarious. I've been drinking the Greg Doucette Kool-Aid back when he had like 30,000 followers. Like, I'm a believer, I disagree in this area. And I think it works for him because he falls into this category. Bodybuilder. The dude's a bodybuilder. The dude's super disciplined. He's got a lifetime of athletic training. He's disciplined enough. And even him, you watch his videos, you'll hear that he says, like, if I have, bad food in my house, I'm going to eat it because it's there and I'm going to eat it. If you have food in your house that is artificially sweet and is this like fake healthy food or healthy junk food, it's going to make you more likely to want to eat real junk food. And it's going to make it more likely that you will relapse and actually eat junk food. So I don't think it's good to eat those things. Of course, here and there, it's fine. If you are eating 90% healthy food and you want to have a little bit of like, I don't even really know what these like foods are, to be honest with you. I don't even know really. I can't even like name them. What is he like? Popcorn? That's fine, I guess. I don't even know. Like, the only thing I can think of is fake pancake syrup, like the sugar-free pancake syrup. I guess that's okay. What would you even eat that with? I don't know. It just sounds gross. But the point is that focusing on low calorie dense foods that taste like junk food, I think is not the ideal choice when it comes to eating. Is it the worst thing in the world? No. But is it like actual nutritious, healthy food that you should be consuming? No, it's not. Is it the ideal food? No, it's not. Bottom line, it's not the ideal choice. And if you are super disciplined, like somebody like Greg Doucette, and you're a professional athlete, or even a professional bodybuilder, which I guess that's a type of athlete, and you have the discipline to like live that type of lifestyle, and you have it would make sense that you have the discipline as well to like eat the low calorie dense foods that taste good, the healthy junk food, and sneak it in here and there in order to stay sane. But why would you even go through all of that? Why would you put the additional stress on yourself to like focus on all of these extra things that maybe you can or can't eat, when you can literally just buy like the same 10 ingredients at the store every single time and eat those and be perfectly satisfied with the food that you eat? The benefit of, or I guess the disadvantage, and the reason I don't like meal plans really, is that it puts too much emphasis, in my opinion, on eating things that taste good. Puts too much emphasis on variety and novelty, which of course is fine. I'm not saying like you can only eat these 10 foods and that's it. You can never eat anything else ever again. Of course, you're going to go out with friends. Of course, you're going to want to break your diet here and there, maybe even every week or every couple of days. That's fine. But that should be the exception. That should not be like the rule. You should not have to put so much mental energy towards what you're going to eat on a daily basis. So food choice is very important. Number 6, eating several meals throughout the day just for the sake of keeping portions small is unnecessarily inconvenient. So a meal plan, right? The term meal plan implies multiple meals throughout the day, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Are there meal plans that consist of one meal a day or one meal every 2 days? I've never heard of them. It's like I'm making this fitness course right now. I'm like in the process of finishing recording all the videos. And I'm on the nutrition section, and it's like, do I make a meal plan? Am I going to make a meal plan that is like the one dish that you eat 7 days a week, or 3 or 4 dishes, and you're allowed to pick one that you eat once a day for the whole week? I guess that's one way to do it, right? But most meal plans are not like that. The meal plans that I've seen are at least 3 meals a day. Typical basic bitch fucking, pumpkin spice latte, whatever. I don't even like, what is it? For breakfast, eat some oatmeal with some blueberries and a cup of non-fat yogurt. For lunch, barbecued salmon with green beans. And for dinner, have a 4 ounces of chicken breast with, I don't know, fucking some broccoli or something with a little bit of mustard on the side for taste. And it's like, get the fuck out of here. You don't need to be so basic. You don't. I mean, you can, those are all good things to eat for sure, but you don't need to be so, you don't need to pick different ingredients just to pick different ingredients, right? Out of all of those things that I just mentioned, if we ranked them on a scale, you could make the argument that one of those foods is the best thing to eat, better than all of the other foods. So why wouldn't you just eat that one? You know what I'm saying? That's the approach that I think is the most beneficial to use towards nutrition, which is like you identify the best thing that you should be doing or should be eating, and you eat that. Done. That's it. No extra bullshit at all. Yeah, so it's unnecessarily inconvenient. Most people who exist in the modern world, I don't really, again, like I said, unless you're a pro athlete or extremely active or a bodybuilder, you don't need to be eating so frequently throughout the day. You just don't. Your caloric demands are not high enough that it requires constant, refilling of your glucose stores because you're just busting your ass so hard. It's just not necessary. And especially when you combine that with like all of the fake processed food that we have out there, which is more likely to trigger you and make you eat something that's actually really bad. Right, like I said, the fake junk food or the fake healthy food is not the worst thing in the world. But when you eat that, it's much more likely that you will eat large amounts of really bad food, as opposed to if you eat the actual healthy food, and then afterwards you're less likely to binge, basically. Number 7, eating multiple times throughout the day causes more frequent insulin spikes and inhibits productivity, except for extremely active people. So this is another thing. I watch a lot of Greg Doucette videos, okay? And I like the overall message that he's giving, which is basically like, get in the gym, go work out, don't be a bitch. And all these fitness influencers are on steroids, like wake up. I like it. It's good. Really good for the most part. But I have seen a couple of videos of him where he focuses a little bit too much on the calories in, calories out, leading to weight loss. And that is kind of like, basically what he says is like, I watched this video by this person and they said that calories in, calories out isn't the only thing that affects weight loss, and that's wrong. You know, rah, 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 I'm screaming, I'm Greg Doucette, like, watch me do my thing, which is great. It's funny. And he's not wrong. That is true. That is true, I guess. And he'll even say things like, if you eat 1,000 calories of Twinkies, yeah, you'll lose weight, but that's not healthy, right? But that's inserted like as an afterthought. And I think it's, I think a lot of inexperienced people who are not experienced with fitness or weight loss, who are just not healthy, they're not the type of, that is not a good message for them to hear. That's an okay message for somebody who's trained and who's fit and understands the importance of food choice when choosing what foods to eat. But for somebody who is a fat piece of shit, for lack of a better explanation, when they hear like, oh, I can eat whatever I want as long as I keep my calories low. Okay, well, let me go get some fucking Dr. Pepper and a burrito and like some chimichangas and fucking some chocolate ice cream. Well, my TDEE is 2,200. I only ate 1,500. Oh my God, I'm going to lose so much weight. This is going to be great. That might be true if you can actually stick to that. But you're taking somebody who's clearly shown a lack of, well, let's take a fat person as an example. You're taking somebody who has clearly shown either a lack of discipline or a lack of motivation or a lack of knowledge when it comes to like nutritional choices. So they're already lacking discipline. They're already like not healthy in general. They probably already binge frequently on unhealthy food. And you're basically saying, oh, no, it's cool, bro. Like, just keep eating whatever you want. Just eat less. No big deal. And what are the odds that they're going to actually do that, right? Probably not so good. Whereas instead, if you can go, interrupt their pattern a couple steps ahead of time. For example, if you say like, actually don't eat any of that, just eat these 3 things. How come nobody's come up with the chicken diet? Like, really, it's a no-brainer. The chicken diet. Just eat chicken and you'll lose weight. Fucking genius. Really. The chicken diet. That's my next video. Damn, I'm fucking on a roll, huh? I'm actually going to write this one down. The chicken diet. Boom. I already forgot what the other one was. Anyway, yeah, so eating multiple times throughout the day causes more frequent insulin spikes and his productivity. So if you're eating multiple times throughout the day, you know how every time you eat, you get a little bit tired? Well, that's because your body's releasing insulin and it's making you a little bit tired. This is something that can be modulated by the type of food that you eat. But if you're eating the unhealthy stuff, then it's like, if you're eating a Twinkie, again, bad example, but fine. If you're eating a Twinkie, that's going to spike your insulin a lot more than, let's say it's 200 calories, than 200 calories of chicken or oatmeal and eggs. You know what I'm saying? So those things need to be accounted for as well, because I just thought of another video idea. All right, whatever. Those things need to be accounted for as well, because if you're tired from an insulin spike, you're going to expend less calories like moving around and doing stuff, which is going to reduce your fat loss even more. So all these things are related, basically. Number 8, meal plans are a crutch used by people who don't want to learn the principles behind healthy eating. So this is a bit of a stretch, I'll admit. Anytime I hear somebody talk about how they're on a meal plan or how their trainer gave them a meal plan and they're like all excited about it, good that they're doing something. And maybe I'm just being a snob by saying this, but it's like, you don't need it, the chicken diet. It's that simple. Really, chicken and vegetables, done. Just eat that once a day and eat as much as you want. Put hot sauce, put whatever you want. And then when you're full, you can have dessert. That's it. It's that simple. That is the chicken diet. But anyway, they're a crutch used by people who don't want to learn the principles behind healthy eating. If you understand the principles of healthy eating, you don't need a meal plan. You don't. It's like, for example, if you understand the principle behind, I don't know, running, actual just like running, you don't need to like think about taking every single step. You don't think like, okay, I'm going to lift up my foot and put it in front of me. And then I'm going to like move this arm a little bit and then lift up the other foot and put that. No, it's like you understand how to run. You just do it, right? You just like kind of go like this and put one foot in front of the other. And you need to think about like, okay, is it heel toe? Is it toe heel? Anyway, maybe that's a bad example, but it's like, and I guess the reason I say it's a stretch is because I guess it's possible that after you follow a meal plan, if you successfully follow a meal plan and you don't get decision fatigue from like following all these little steps, if you actually follow it for a decent length of time, it's possible it'll just turn into a habit for you to eat healthy food. And it's also possible that you will learn the principles behind healthy eating if the meal plan is designed correctly, I guess, which I assume it would be by even the most basic trainer. You would kind of learn those principles just kind of on the way, because you'd be like, oh, okay, well, I'm eating chicken every night, so I guess chicken is good for dinner. Or I'm eating oatmeal every day, so I guess oatmeal is good. Cool. Those are my 8 reasons why meal plans are a waste of money. What do you guys think about that? Let me know. Leave me a comment. Peace.